Chris Haigh and this is the Fiddle channel. Today we're going to be playing a tune called Angeline the Baker. In this lesson I'm going to show you first of all the basic melody, then I'll show you some of the ways we can ornament it and add some drones and ornaments. I'll show you some syncopation, and at the end I'll tell you how you can get hold of a copy of the music. So let's start off with the basic melody, which 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, before we go any further, just a quick word about different versions of this tune, or indeed of any tune. Having done quite a lot of these videos and done a lot of tunes and looked at different versions of the tune, I realised that with almost all old-time or bluegrass or folk tunes of any description, if you look at, let's say, 6 different videos or 6 different books that have that tune in, they all have different versions. And if you're a poor fiddler who is just starting out and wants to learn a tune, wants to be able to play it with other people, how on earth do you know which is the right version? Because in fact with this one I started off, I learnt it from Pete Cooper's book, his collection of American fiddle tunes. And it was quite different from the one I've just played. And it wasn't until I looked at a heap of videos that I realised that the syncopation that he put in to this tune wasn't in most other people's versions. And as I'm teaching you tunes, I think that I should try and teach you something that is vaguely a consensus. So I try and play what's the most likely thing that you are likely to hear when you play with other people, unless I happen to think that another version is absolutely better. So this is something like you might find, but if you are learning a new tune and you're going to play with other people, I do recommend that you find out what, if they already know the tune, find out what version they play. So if you play a jam session and you're just starting there, take along your recorder and just record the whole lot and get the titles and try comparing the version that they're playing of any particular tune with a version you might find in a book or a recording, and you'll see whether or not you're barking up completely the wrong tree. Anyway, this is my version of Angeline the Baker, unique in its own way probably. First of all we're going to add some drones, and if you look at the chords there's a whole load of D in this tune, just a few little G's here and there. So D drones is what we're going to be doing a lot of. So looking at the first line, so all the way up to there, a D drone will work. And then here we got a G chord. So if you want a drone, either put a G drone underneath it, or put a B above it. Or you can in fact have a D drone under that as well. And then, so here, we're using some open E drones. And again, I ignored the G chord there. Just did a D drone under it. So I'll give you the first 2 lines. And then, second half, an A drone is going to work over the first bit. Now why does an A drone work over a D chord? The reason is that a D chord root, third, fifth. The A is the fifth of the D chord, and so that's a perfectly happy note within the D chord. And with the G chord, the D is again the fifth of the G chord. Now if you want to mark those chord changes, instead of just ignoring them or avoiding them, then you might do something like this. So I'm putting a G under there. And there I'm doing a for the G, and doing a F sharp with an A above it for the D. And when I am doing double stops, I always try and do double stops which are adjacent to one another. In other words, for that, that's a D, that's a G, and the notes are only one move away. So I'm not doing something like that, which is a bit of a jump. Or if you're doing, if that's your D, that's your G. So it's just one step away. Second half. Right, do that again. So that's your drones. Let's have a look at some ornaments, and there's a few nice hammer-ons you can do. Those B's, put an A under it. There you can do a hammer-on with a B. Now, as I mentioned, the version that I first learned of this had loads of syncopation, and let me just try and remember some of that. So it went something like this. Basically, I'm anticipating a lot of the main sections. So the end of the first line, I'm bringing in the beginning of the second line a beat early. And there I'm bringing in the third bar of that line a beat early. And that just gives an added element of surprise and excitement to it, which I think is nice and is particularly appropriate in old time versions of this tune. I think that's all to say. I will play you out with a couple of times round with a little bit of variation. Hope you enjoyed this. If you subscribe, then I can send you a copy of the dots.